Goodbye, Dacho. Yes, I hate apples, unironically. Chat, somebody send me 1,000 polls, please. I'm so tired. My folding instincts don't want to wait a week before I can hit the soft pity. Someone please send me $1,000,000. Wait, what? Yeah, I should already done that. Haven't done this one though. Wait, how many? 107? Okay. You don't like blueberries? Neither here nor there. Like a mid-tier fruit for me. Sun. Whoops. Dude. You guys like that? I learned that a long time ago. It's 3:40 a.m. I know. I couldn't monetize my last video because of a small pause in it. So I was like, let me just do multiple streams today and then monetize the VOD. So I can like make $3 and afford my family food for the next year with those $3. That's kind of the plan. Do you sleep? Not when an S3 meth is in my eyes. When one is dedicated enough, sleep matters not. Only true grinders know about that. Wait, what? Please go up, man. Like, oh, fuck. Wait, can I just use the exploration power creep? Hold up. Fake Cappy? Nah, not fake. Dude, what is this bullshit, man? You know Cappy sleep about 16 hours a day? I mean, whenever I'm not grinding, I sleep like 12. But I've had a grind as of late, so it's like, what can you do about it? You know what I'm saying? I don't get the puzzle. Yeah, it's probably a skill issue.
Just like the treasure chest.
All good though. Not many can comprehend.
Knight's challenge has arrived.
Wait. Oh wait. Oh, I thought that'd take me up. I mean, this is probably good enough. Yeah. Stop streaming too much? Dude, I couldn't monetize my last video, Everly. I gotta make like an extra $3, man. Chill. I need to grind a bit. I already don't put in any effort into anything I do anyway. Why can't you monetize it? I'll just monetize the VOD. Oh, the last video? The music I used. It's like, I don't understand it. It says it's copyright free, but in actuality, it is copyright. It's just that they wouldn't. It's so weird, dude. It's so fucking weird. But yeah, so because of a small pause in the midst of the video when I was going to Rurigoko's thing, I guess that counts, and they mainly heard this song and shit. Kinda annoying, because I know that video is gonna get like probably 3K easy, because people are like, well, I'm kind of known as the Yao Guang channel right now, so. Dude, what is this? Can you stop leaving my camera? Wait, what? Are we serious, dude? I can't do any damage. Oh my god. This S2 AMF is brick, dude.
There goes the coast.
Is Yao going the new farming strat like Saridra? Dude, I genuinely hate having to talk about Yao Guang. Like, every time I have to make a video about Yao Guang walking people through, like, what's literally said in her fucking kit, you guys don't understand. You guys might think, like, oh, I'm just farming this because it's free views. But, like, I could literally get as many views doing, like, anything fucking else. It's just, like, my brain can't leave me alone when you have, like, mindless doomers. And people saying buff sparkle is going to be better. It's like, oh, how can I ignore it? You know what I'm saying? It's so annoying. Why am I even like this? Fuck. I should just let the misinformation spread and people get scammed. You assume gacha players read character kits? Well, no. But, like, I've made a bajillion videos at this point and people keep repeating the same things I've already talked about, and it's like, are we serious? Like, I got recommended a post from Yao Guang mains of someone trying to enlighten these chud masses on Yao Guang's real potential. And the first thing I see in the comments section is, nah, dude, she's a tribby, man. She's a tribby.
I can fly too.
Like, I should be legally allowed to throw a gacha player across a football field every time they call Yao Guang a tribby. Just for me alone. It's not about value. It's about the kits and the fact that they are complete opposites of each other. Trebi is a high generalist support with like a slight bit of bias towards her best in slot, which is Herda. Meanwhile, Yao is legit the complete opposite. Like it almost doesn't get any more niche. The only person more niche is probably what's it called? Cyrene with the Chrysos Airs. But like it's the complete opposite because Yao is mostly niche and then she has a tiny bit of general buffs that some people can take a bit advantage of.
It's just a dream.
She's an X.0 character. No, someone. You know what's funny? I said some dumbass is going to say this shit in my last stream. I literally said this. Some dumbass is going to say this shit, and the only people who bring up meaningless, parallels like, oh, but this character from 2 years ago and this pattern with Cassie, because they can't use their own brains to understand the difference in nuance. And then I make a community post updating people on the punchline gen of Yao Guang in that zero cycle. And legit, like an hour later, there's someone in the comments. I commented under their comment, like brainless take or something like that. They're saying, oh, but if you look at all the previous X.0 characters, they aged terribly. So that means Yao Guang is going to be terrible too. Want to throw something, man? I mean, here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about Yao Guang. Like, people think I'm joking. I'm dead serious about this. I, I, I had no hype for this character. Almost at all. All my hype has been for Evanesia, Silverwolf, and Sparksy. And yet,
I can
I am here on the front lines defending this character because too many buffoons can't even read a little bit into this character's kit and are automatically dooming it for fucking no reason. Now that Anon came out with the leak that Silverwolf's ult scales off of Punchline Gen, people got off of Sparksy's back, right? Like the first videos I actually made around this weren't even Yao Guang. They were about defending Sparksy because people were saying that Sparksy was not a sub DPS, she'd be a main DPS, and that her, entire kit being built exactly like Everknight's meant absolutely nothing, right? And then when Anon came out and said that shit, people finally realized, oh, Sparksy is a sub DPS for this, so I no longer had to defend her. So now these rabid dogs have gone from trying to doom Sparksy, can't do that. Oh, you know who's next to doom? Yao Guang, right? Oh, Yao Guang's gonna be the scam character that gets replaced a few patches later on. Like, they can't stop. They gotta go from one to the other.
The night's challenge has arrived.
Nah, Asheville is a sub DPS. He's also gonna get like his main DPS late ass shit in 4.x. Like this is just something they're doing in 4.x for whatever reason. They're selling like supports and sub DPSs before they release the main DPS now. It's not like this is the only case. Like Asheville is the same thing. Got to chill about Yao. I mean, one, I get paid for this shit anyways, for putting my opinion out there. It's free content, so I make money. But also, no. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and dude, like one of these videos gets 30k views of telling people that Buff Sparkle is gonna be better than Yao Guang. Like, I'm sorry. There's no way I'm staying silent. Like, there is people this popular with getting this many views, spreading straight misinfo, man. And it's like, it's fine for them to have their own opinion. But I'm going to make my own video trying to explain to people what I believe is the truly correct answer, right? And I'll show proof, I'll show evidence, I'll show rotations, I'll show calcs, I'll show fucking everything, right? Like, I hate mindless doomers. I hate it so much. I absolutely despise mindless doomers. And it's like, here's the thing. I am not telling people that you need to pull Yao Guang, okay? I do think I should make this, because I do get carried away sometimes, and people think I'm, like, telling people, pull Yao Guang, right? Like, you cannot pull Yao Guang easily. This is the newest DPS, it's the newest path, it's the most shield against the endgame. You do not need, you don't need the full team best in slot. Right, you can even go for Eidolons, you can go for Lycones, you can make up for the loss of not having a full team. But people spreading misinformation that Yao Guang isn't going to be best in slot, and that the 2.x buff support is over the hyper-specific Elation AoE buffer, like, I'm sorry. I'm not... I'm not gonna pretend I didn't hear that shit. I'm not gonna pretend I didn't see it. I'm gonna make videos. I'll skip Yao Guang and spend 326 wishes on Sparksy. What's your pity? $59 now.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Came for the strawberry take, stayed for the Yao Guang defense. Dude, I hate doing it too. Because it's like, here's the thing. If this were in like any space outside of the gacha space, shit like this would be genuinely obvious. You know, I wouldn't have to go this hard for people to understand it. It's literally only this gacha space where people would, you know, go this hard on just fucking headcanon, right? Literal fantasy over what is obviously in the game and in these character skits. I'd rather make a bajillion folding videos than make more Yao Guang videos. But I feel so, like, compulsed to make a video every time I see misinformation being spread. Until, like, I can just put the nail in the coffin and people, like, collectively wake up. Which is, like, so unrealistic. But I don't know. It's just an issue I have. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I fully recognize that.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
It's just like, it baffles me. It genuinely, I'm not exaggerating, it absolutely baffles me that people can think a 2.x buffed hypercarry support would be a best in slot over the newest AoE elation buffer, purely targeted towards elation gimmicks and elation damage. Like, it's like, I sit there, right, and I cannot believe, like, this would even cross anybody's mind at all. It's so hard for me to believe that people have full faith in this argument. And I slowly lose my faith in humanity. Like, how can you not? Genuinely. There's no way, man. Hope you're doing well, thanks. I'm almost level 60 on this account. I can't wait, dude. It's gonna be so much easier to farm master rights off of the end game when I get that.
Such is the race. Repent. Silence beckons.
It's that deep? I mean, it probably isn't. Like, I can recognize that. I mean, this is just gacha game shit at the end of the day. But it's like, I feel like as a species, we're regressing. Okay, I'm probably taking it too far. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, wait, no. I'm a capybara, actually. I'm a capybara. My bad. Yeah, I'm a capybara. I'm not a human. Oh, shit. I'm 20 wave plates off. Once again, the only reason I don't have a problem, like, voicing the opinions I do, even though it seems like, you know, like, useless or whatever, it's like first world issues. It's because, well, this is kind of the channel I've based my shit around on, and I can obviously make money by just quickly spouting my opinions wherever. But, like, genuinely, if it weren't for that, holy shit. Like, this gacha community is kind of cooked, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, yeah, yeah. Even though I know you aren't really a big fan of God of War, never say that shit again, buddy. Never say that shit again. I'm the biggest fan of God of War. It's literally the only solo player game I bother to play every time it releases. But yes, I have seen that. I'm incredibly excited, incredibly hyped. Can't wait to see what they do with that. $60 pity. Please, dude, just give me it like 7 pity early so I can stop farming. Fuck! I'm a returning player with dot team without black swan. Archer plus sparkle and whoa whoa. Who should I pull next? I mean, I'd probably pull black swan, man. No Cyrene and no swan. You can use Cyrene if you have Heisland's Kafka over swan, and it's actually better most of the time, I'm pretty sure. But if you don't want to get Cyrene, then I'd probably grab swan. After that, Archer Sparkle. I mean, Archer has a fuck ton of third slots. What I may recommend, if you can afford it, is Yao Guang. Because Yao Guang does work well enough, in my opinion, as a third slot for Archer, even though it isn't best in slot. But this way, you can kind of ease into elation a little bit, right? Now, I'm not going to recommend you get the, you know, the Silver Wolf team, because that's going to be the expensive one. I'd say get Evanesia, get Yao Guang. You can skip 4.1, run Yao Guang EMC, and give them your Huo Huo. Or, like, you know, either the dot team or Evanesia is going to have to fight over Huo Huo. Because buffed Huo Huo is going to be best in slot for both temporarily. But I do think later down the line, they will release an Elation Sustain. So you can end up just, you know, having Huo Huo on this team, having the Elation Sustain on your Elation DPS team, and you have an Archer team on the side with probably Dan Heng PT. Bam. 3 teams. Yao Guang Salesman. Dude, what do you want me to do? Like, it's obvious. Why would I not recommend Yao Guang? Like, that's just a free... Like, Evanesia is cheap. Her league team is Huo Huo, EMC, Evanesia, and Yao Guang. Like, just pick it up. You can still use her with Archer temporarily. You can use her for any future Elation DPS. And then it's likely the Elation sustain isn't going to release for a long time. Like, it's perfect banner placement. Like, I would have said Sparksy if Sparksy was... Well, Sparksy had Yao Guang's kit. I'm just gonna blindly follow you because I don't know shit. That's a lot of pressure, man. I'm a woo shill? Oh, understandable. I mean, I don't think Seal will work with Ashvale either. If she does work with Ashvale, it's like some half-ass synergy until he gets his main DPS later. Jokes, of course. I don't show for any gacha company. Yeah, no problem. I can tell. It's always nice to see some non-shills on this channel. I got shills on both sides.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Should I go for Hyceland's light cone? I have the premium team for her. I'd prioritize E1 all day over her light cone. But if you maybe can't afford E1 in time, if you already have pity on light cone, if you already have a guaranteed depending on opportunity cost, yeah, I'd get her light cone. What makes someone an HSR shill? I mean, most of the time shill just refers to people who are toxically positive of their favorite game or whatever game it is. And then they're usually pretty negative towards like anything else or just more critical of other things. Like these people may not realize the bias, but most of them do, but just don't care. I got E2 Evernight, E1 Yao Guang. Happy? That sounds like an amazing haul. True question is, will Silverwolf have Sparksy, Brain Rot, or Yao cool aha instant? That's what I kind of... That's what I really like about Elation. It's one of the things I talk about decently often of what I like about the Elation path. They get an extra set of animations for basically free, which is really nice. So I'm really hyped to see what her Elation skill is and what her ultimate is. Do you think Evanesia wants Sparksy? No. Nope. I'm pretty confident Sparksy's like only a sub DPS for Silverwolf. It kind of like an Evernight situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'd only use Evernight as a sub DPS for Cassie, and that's it. You wouldn't use it anywhere else. Well, I guess people who want to cope with main DPS Irene could technically use Evernight as a, you know, quote unquote sub DPS. By the way, she's out damaging Cyrene, even in Cyrene main DPS, but we ignore that, right? But outside of that, yeah, it's basically only Cassie, so same thing here. Please make a vid on Wua not buffing old units. I'm not gonna lie, it ain't a bad idea, but I have zero fucking energy. I'll probably leave something like that for a future date. I'm currently so focused on HSR and getting this AMETH right now that like it's taking all my energy. I don't got energy in me to like start this criticizing gacha game shit right now.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
I mean, I think Himiko SP has a higher chance of being the general one. Could be wrong though. Dude, I just want like I just want to speed run to 4.1, man. Or like speed run to the second phase so I can pull on Sparksy. Like genuinely. Like who didn't save pulls for 4.0? Like who didn't? With those trash ass 3.8 banners. Like come on, you should have just shortened this patch instead of 4.1. So we could have had Sparksy already. What are the possibilities of Himiko being hunt and best in slot with Ashvale? 0. I don't know why they kept Sparksy to second half. Why not put both banners all month? You guys need to remember the only reason Sparksy and Yao Guang banners got changed and why Yao Guang got increased meta relevance is because of this entire China-Japanese thing going on in real life. Like, originally, it was placed so that Sparksy was the first half and the main push of the patch, and then Yao Guang was second half without this extended banner thingy. But Anon did say that they changed Yao Guang's meta relevance and story relevance because of this entire Chinese JP thing going on. So this is likely why, by the way, they made Yao Guang the way she did, and they moved Sparksy to the second phase. Sparksy is Japanese. No, not that. They decided to give, what's it called? They gave Yao Guang the main push treatment over Sparksy. Like that's what they're trying to fool people into believing. They're trying to make it seem like they gave the Zhangzhou general, you know, the CN planet of Honkai Star Rail. They gave the character from there the special treatment, the good kit that's going to be in all the meta teams, the first half banner over Sparksy, just to get like some good up, big up points. That's kind of how it went. So what originally was supposed to be the only, you know, so-called main push, not on the same level as main push of like Himiko SP, Silverwolf SP, not that, but like the big banner of a patch, right? There's usually one banner that's bigger than the other character. So Sparksy was supposed to be that. They changed it to be Yao Guang, or at least they tried to. Yeah, they probably couldn't change that much in such a short amount of time, Solus, I imagine. It makes sense. They probably couldn't change that much. They just try to change as little as they can. That didn't cost them too much. And they could, like, make quick changes to make people have more focus on the character. But I will say, if it weren't for this entire like Chinese, JP shit going on right now, China JP, there's a good chance Yao Guang did not have the kit she had, dude. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Yao Guang probably was a like character that would get replaced later down the line, and then they just fully changed her kit to shield her for relation.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Do I pull Sparksy or wait for Silverwolf? Sparksy is basically like a guaranteed for Silverwolf. If Silverwolf ult is punchline, I mean, it's obvious. Sub DPS is going to be Sparksy. But if you think it might get in the way of you pulling Silverwolf and guaranteeing her, then yeah, I'd skip. Just get the rerun in 4.3. Wait, really, Solis? Yeah, like, both Sparksy and Yao Guang, my guess is they rerun 4.3. So you don't even gotta wait that long. Like, it's just one patch after they release. Getting Silverwolf without Sparksy is like getting gas. I mean, here's the thing. I get a feeling, like, so long as you have Yao Guang, you can probably just run EMC plus Yao Guang. Now, obviously, this shit isn't going to be as strong as with Sparksy. But, like, this is the newest DPS with one of their best in slot supports, at least. Like, I'd imagine that's enough to clear endgame. Can I goon to Zhongli? I mean, sure. Who's stopping you? You can ride the shill buffs and clear? Yeah, exactly. Yao Guang, Yao Guang, Yao Guang, Yao Guang. I really wish I had a time travel ability, man. How good is Sparksy Lycone? I believe for her own main DPS, it's like, I saw a calc, 25%. And then as a sub DPS, it would probably be way less. So, in main DPS, I would say it's like decently worth picking up. It's not the best. It's not the worst. It's kind of in the middle for a Lycone. But if you end up running her sub DPS in the future with Silverwolf, I'd say skip. I would say that. Just skip. Isn't Yao's Lycone a better investment than Sparksy's Lycone for mono elation? Probably, yeah. Well, in a Silverwolf team, it'd probably be Silverwolf Slycone because similar to Mono Rem, even though the sub DPSs do some damage, like 70% of the damage in Mono Rem is Cassie's, right? So Cassie's Lycone matters the most. If they do the same thing with the Elation team in Silverwolf, then Silverwolf's Lycone would still matter the most. This entire Elation team, and I talked about it in the past stream, is really similar to Mono Rem. Like, if you look at their vertical investment levels, they're all broken for the team they're meant for. Another way, by the way, that you can see whether or not Yao Guang might be best in slot for Mono Elation is her synergy, specifically with Sparksy and Sparksy's vertical investment, right? Now, I don't bring this up too often because people are like, oh, it's like whale territory, right? It doesn't mean anything. But if you look at both Sparksy's E1 and E2, they both have benefits at the end of AHA instance. So, clear as day synergy being paired with Yao Guang and her forced AHA instance. And what Sparksy's E1 does is 15% respen team-wide. I used to clown on this E1. I thought it was trash. But the second we learned that Silverwolf wants Punchline for her ultimate, this is where everything changed. Because E1 Sparksy actually gives a free 5 Punchline at the end of every AHA instant, right? So, this E1, perfectly synergistic with Yao. What's the E2? The E2 is that Sparksy gets an extra turn at the end of every AHA instant, and she gets given Thrill to be able to consume for her skill and to generate more Punchline, right? So Sparksy has that really strong E2 sub DPS investment for buffing the entire team, including Silverwolf. And all of this is incredibly synergistic with Yao Guang and her forced AHA instance. And then Yao Guang, her E1, straight up a 30% damage buff, right? 30% damage buff for basically all Elation teams. It's really strong. Her E2 is a speed increase team-wide and Elation increase team-wide. Like, both of these two vertical investments is similar to Mono Rem. They're both very similar to Mono Rem in terms of how valuable it is for their team. So I think it is pretty obvious that these two are meant to be played together. Yao Guang E2 could be really good. It is. It is. A speed buff plus an Elation buff. It's like not only are you buffing damage, not only are you buffing speed to make it easier to get more turns on your Elation characters, but because of the way Elation works, when you're buffing these characters' speed, you're also buffing the speed of AHA instant. Right. So you can either go for a higher threshold for AHA instant speed, or you can just hit that speed threshold that you would normally get anyways easier, and then focus substats on things that you'd actually, really want and prioritize. Are you going to ruin your sleep schedule again just to offend a character? I'm not working for the next couple weeks. I don't care. You guys think I'd be doing this shit 3 streams in a day and streaming at 4:30 in the morning if I had work tomorrow? Oh, fuck no. Oh, hell no. I'm taking my time laid back for the next few weeks.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Also, my sleep schedule gets naturally ruined in the first place anyways. It's just something natural with me. I've always had sleeping problems. And then there's also like some other noises or whatever that can wake me up and I have trouble sleeping, so. Do you think Cyrene DPS is good? Cyrene DPS is like fake. Like, it is good, but it's like fake. Because Cyrene DPS is really just duo DPS with Evernight. And Evernight is doing as much, if not more damage than Cyrene. But yes, Cyrene main DPS is no joke better than like half of the Amphorius DPSs. Because she can use Evernight.
The knight's challenge has arrived. Such is the request. This sword shall not be shattered.
Dude, why are they just spamming the same attack over and over again?
Just like the treasure chest from the stories.
Should I invest in Dot or go for E1 Yao? Just go for whatever you enjoy more, man. I'm gonna be honest. I usually wouldn't say that, but Dot has gotten so many buffs. They have like the best early vertical investment in the game almost. They're about to get another buff in sustain with buff 12 well probably. Like, they're good enough of a team to decide to go into, even if you sacrifice getting a new 4.x team. I went for E1 Yao Guang because obviously you guys would know like what the stance I take. I'm already confident, have been confident for a while she'll be best in slot for Silverwolf. And I know, similar to what I did for Mono Rem on my main account, I'm going to get probably Silverwolf E2 and then Sparksy and Yao Guang E1, right, at the minimum. And then Elation Sustain down the line. So, for me, that's why I went with the vertical investment. Folder because you are the folding king? True. If I was the folding king, I'd also go for E2 though. Because E2 is like also pretty valuable. I mean, I've always been able to clear the game with ease. So it's gone to the point of like just trying to get true 0 cycles. Because there's nothing else and I don't care about AA. So my free to play is trying to get Cyrene Saridra for true 0 cycles. Once my Firefly account gets Dahlia and Firefly gets Nova Flared, with my Dot team and Firefly team, that'll probably be a true 0 cycle account. And then, what's the other one? My Mono Rem account? Oh yeah. That one's obvious. My Mono Rem team and then my Elation team on the second, like, they're all doing true 0 cycles in a few patches. What's the best Acheron team? I'd imagine it's probably Buff Sparkle, Cypher, and then Sustain. I don't even know. Maybe Hyacine with Lycone. Oh yeah, and Sustainless, it's probably Silverwolf, yeah. Especially with E2. But that's a big caveat. Been achieving true 0 cycles just by spinning Ren teams, just pull Elation for fun? Yeah. Like, I'm probably not... Well, I may make videos on it, but it's not, in my opinion, a real accomplishment if I get true 0 cycles on the accounts I spent money on. But I probably will make a video and feel some sense of accomplishment for my free-to-play account getting a true zero cycle. That one's basically guaranteed at this point. I got the Archer with the buff Sparkle with the E1 Tribby, and now I got an E6 Anoxa who's soon gonna get Ceridra and Cyrene. There's no way to escape it. Good night, Sodic. Yeah. The best part about E2 Silverwolf is I have an E1 on my Firefly account and an E0 S1 Acheron. So if there ever is that Acheron Nova Flare that I think they'll do near the end of the version, then I will just grab an E2 Silverwolf if possible and run it with Nova Flare to Acheron. What got you into HSR? So believe it or not, I played the beta for this game. Or, sorry, not the beta. I played it on launch day. Because at the time I was a Genshin player. That was the one that got me into gacha. And I instantly dropped it. I didn't even want to give the turn-based a chance. And it wasn't until about a year later, right before Penacony hit, that I... Oh no, it was when Penacony hit. Right when Penacony hit. Where I wanted to get into the game. And that's where I started. And that's when... Keep in mind, I was still decently casual for a few patches after I started. However, then I made my YouTube channel. And I started giving my opinions on things. And as I started slowly growing... You guys could go back and watch my first videos. I mean, it's a long scroll because I spam videos. But you'll see, I used to be a lot more clueless. A lot dumber. My assumptions weren't as accurate. I was at the beginning, right? And then people in the comments were like, oh, do this, do that. You know, try this and try that. Like, people were trying to help me to understand the game more and play characters better and shit. And so over time, just playing this game as much as I have is how I've gained the knowledge. You know, like, I've just come to enjoy it over time, the characters, the animations, and the gameplay and shit. And yeah, that's kind of just how it went. I naturally picked up everything from just looking at leaks and trying to learn about characters and stuff. I didn't even watch many videos about speed tuning at all. Like, I just know about speed tuning because I've watched so many gameplay showcases that I was eventually able to assume what they do. I mean, it's not really self-glaze. It's more like I've literally no-lifed this game. To the point where I just know so much about it, even though I didn't want to. It's the same way I feel about Fortnite. Like, I wish I could go back to when I was really bad at the game. I mean, how is that self-glazed, though? It's just normal. Like, anybody after playing a game for, like, nearly 2 years and following leaks and playing it a shit ton is gonna pick things up.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
But I will say, another issue that kind of came with, like, learning how to play HSR for me a bit was it became a lot harder to watch casual content creators for the game, right? It became a lot harder. It's like I'm not literally seething at the thought of like someone playing wrong or something, but what annoys me, and I notice this, which is why I just don't watch many gacha content creators anymore at all. You'll see me under like some leaked beta gameplay sometimes. Like, people sometimes see me there and they're like, yo, Gabby. I'm like, what's up? But when it comes to like these casual content creators, like, they don't learn, or at least they don't bother to learn 90% of the time. Like, they don't bother to get better. They don't bother to put in any effort at all. Ironic coming from me, right, in terms of my content creation. But you get what I'm saying. They don't try to learn how to play the game at all. they are purposely ass because it comes off as more comedic to their audience probably, and they get made fun of more, which gets more engagement. I'm a new player. I picked Kafka from Selector and got Heislands. Should I get Swan or is it okay to skip her? You can skip Swan so long as you think you can get Cyrene in the future on a rerun. Because the third slot for Dot Team can go either way between Cyrene or Swan, but Cyrene is usually better, just by a little bit. So you can for sure skip Swan, but you should probably pick up Cyrene if you're going to skip Swan. Ho-Ho's probably going to make Swan better than Cyrene. No, I do agree. I do agree, but I don't know if it'll be enough of a difference for it to be, like, even all that noticeable. So, like, if someone just likes Cyrene more as a character and don't like Swan as much, then I'd still say it's probably fine to just go for Cyrene. Because you can make up for not having Swan by just going into vertical investment on the rest of the team. Like Kafka and Heislands.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
I use Swan with cast as pure fiction to achieve a 0 cycle 40k. She's even good as a general buffer now? Oh, that's cool.
Such is the true form revealed at last.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't think... I mean, this is just going to be natural. But when I made my video about how I don't think Dot is going to get a dedicated sustain, and they are probably just going to make buffed Woho that sustain for a long time, people were in my comments saying, like, no, they have the Dot for every character but Jiaoqiu. So their logic is they'll make buff Jiaoqiu the Dot sustain. And it's like, I'm sorry, but this shit is the most insane cope I've ever seen. There is a way, way higher chance that Dot team just uses buffed Woho. I mean, they all love attack, they all love energy regen. Literally, the only problem with Woho these days is her sustain capability and SP negativity. Between Heislands and Swan, which E1 is more broken? Heislands, for sure. Heislands.
Roving among the stars.
Who says they are buffing Jiaoqiu? It's just a cope. Because they truly think that every single different Dot type is going to be best in slot for the Dot team. That's the cope, and that's it. It's kind of funny. But, I mean... You know, I can see the theory. I can see the theory. I don't know how good of a cook it is, though. May I have a moment of your time to spread the word of Yao Guang? No. To be honest, fuck Yao Guang, dude. I'm so sick of this shit. I hate saying her name at this point because I've said it so often. I hate hearing it because it's always next to probably one of the most brain dead takes I can possibly hear. I just want her to disappear. Why didn't they give Sparksy Yao Guang's kid or something? Fuck my chud life, man. With the leaks we have, who's a better pick to get for Sylvie? I genuinely don't know. Can't answer that. If you're like truly that on edge and cautious, I'd see if maybe they do the 4.2 beta while Sparksy and Yao Guang banner is still up for a few days. Because it's hard to say. We only have one questionable leak, and that questionable leak says EMC has a kit similar to Yao Guang. So, obviously, this would mean probably Sparksy. But it's really hard to say, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just chilling.
You can count on me.
Being chilling. Well, yeah, that's actually true. I mean, you could become one of these buff Sparkle Copers if you don't want to run Yao Guang and you want like Sparksy Silverwolf. You could be one of the buff Sparkle Copers. It'll definitely be worse than Yao Guang, but I mean, okay. I do think buff Sparkle is going to be astronomically worse as compared to using Yao Guang, but it should still be usable, right? Like the same way Sparksy is currently usable with like using Trivian characters because she's getting shilled out the fucking wazoo. I think the same thing is gonna happen in the anniversary. So you can easily afford to not have a best in slot for a patch and then wait till the rerun. You could run 2 Elation teams in 4.2 if you use Sparkle. Yeah. I mean, kinda, yeah. Yeah, no, they'll probably put 1 or 2 of the buffed characters in the next patch. Like, that's what they did with the 3.4 buffs. Kafka was in 3.5, I believe, and she didn't rerun in 3.4. The ones who reran in 3.4 were like Blade, Jingliu, and Silverwolf, I think. I was talking about beta version, not reruns. Oh no, they will have all of those characters in the beta, yeah. I mean, it like 3.4 beta was literally this. It had all the buffed characters. It had Feign on, and then it had the 2 collab characters for a total of 7. You don't think it's going to happen because the time span is 4 weeks? No, it'll probably still happen. They'll either start the beta earlier or they'll just go through the beta faster once 4.1 hits. Either or. Free Ho-Ho is insane. I don't think this game is going to release another limited selector that soon, personally. If they do, I'd be shocked. There's nothing else I can say. But I don't think they do this, like, limited character selector again so soon. Is there any better website for leaks than Honey Hunter? Nope. Yeah, I think it's more likely that we just get the golden token and they call it a day. Maybe a new golden token edition, but not a selector. Crack. That's my shoulder. I hope they add Zhao Q in the shop so I can get his light cone for Black Swan. Wait, that's actually like... Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that. I mean, people can do the same thing for Ashvale too, which is funny. If you run like Hyper Carry Ashvale, you can legit just get Topaz's light cone with the Battle Pass shit, which is way cheaper. Man, Battle Pass for HSR really did increase in value, I guess, because of you being able to get those light cone token thingies. No, I agree. Like my biggest ask for the upcoming anniversary, it's 3 years in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking 3 years. Make the Lycone banner guaranteed. This is probably the banner change they could make that would lose them the least amount of money. Because 75% of people already went on Lycones to begin with. People are much less likely to spend on a Lycone banner even if they lose as compared to a character one. Right. So, come on. I know you don't make that much money from the 25% of people losing. Please just make it guaranteed.
You can count on me.
Are you getting Black Swan E1? I can't, Jiffy. I'm trying. Like, I'm legit just spamming single pulls on my Firefly account for it. But it's unlikely I'll be able to get it, so... Oh, whoops, wrong one.
This should have brought us more provisions.
So you hate pineapple? No, I actually really like pineapple. Pretty goated. Yeah, they'd make more money if the Lycone banner was guaranteed, probably. The amount of people who would be more open to pulling on Lycones if the banner was guaranteed, in my opinion, would at least make up for the difference of the few percent of people who lose and then also decide to spend money for the Lycone. They would pull a Wuwa and make Lycones 50% jumps? I mean, I don't think so. Like, people are talking about elation Lycone jumps, and oh, this is just another path to scam the players with Lycones. But if you look at Sparksy's Lycone jump, it's like 25%. If you look at Yao Guang's, that shit's like at max, best case scenario in a zero cycle, like 10%. Right? Like, they haven't increased the jump in Lycones. If anything, these new elation Lycone jumps are mid. Like, a majority of Amphorius DPSs have gotten 30 to 40% jumps from their Lycones. It's actually surprising that Sparksy's is only like 25%. And, what's it called? Like Yao Guang's is nearly non-existent. It's really just premium coziness. People see 10 crit rate, 30 crit damage for the team and assume that's crazy. Yeah, it really isn't. Like, I seen people calling that shit, no joke, the strongest, most overpowered Lycone in the history of the game. Like, let's get real, okay? Listen, I'm not saying it's bad. I do think it is decently strong, especially since it's like a team buff. But it's mainly just there to make it easier to relic build your elation team without a crit rate buffer.
Just like the treasure chest from the stories.
Yeah, Sparkle's Cone loses to DDD. And like similarly, Yao Guang's free-to-play option is already close enough anyways. Crit rate is not the best part about Yao LC. I mean, the energy is overrated in my opinion. Like heavily, it's easily the most overrated part of her Lycone. Like, the energy helps, but it's not a Robin situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can afford to take an extra turn with Yao Guang or something, or take a few hits from the enemy to get the energy for it, because she isn't as reliant on ultimate, right? Like, her ultimate doesn't deploy some zone that gives the entire team fucking, let's say, 30% elation damage bonus. It's a quick aha instant, right? So it's like people really overestimate the energy shit in my opinion. How much worse is Yao free to play Lycone again? Barely. Like 10%, maybe less. That's the free mushroom Lycone in the MOC shop, by the way. That isn't bad. What, a 10% jump? I mean, for a support Lycone, it isn't bad. But if you look at opportunity cost, why would you ever go for that? Realistically, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just historical at this point that going for E2 on the main DPS is always going to vastly outscale any other investment options on the team. And then only after you get set E2, it's like, oh, now we start getting the Sparksy E1, we start getting the Yao Guang E1, shit like that. It has a pretty picture. True. Any new leaks? No. The leak game is dead, guys. Give it up. Leak game is dead. Well, there is one questionable leak, which I've already talked about multiple times. But supposedly, leakers said that the test team for Silverwolf currently is Silverwolf, EMC, Sparksy, and Huohuo. And they added a little note that EMC has a kit like Yao Guang, which is like, it's kind of vague, but this is basically what I've been saying for a while now, which is like, obviously Yao Guang is the premium version of EMC, and they're probably testing EMC to see how strong they should make him so that they can still sell Yao Guang enough. We'll see how that goes. Because EMC is definitely a hyper carry buffer, unless they change the Herda Shop Cone in the current beta. But if the Herda Shop Cone in the current beta doesn't change, he's definitely a hyper carry buffer. He's not a team buffer. So in my opinion, it's like RMC Cyrene, right? Like, you definitely can still use EMC, but Yao Guang is like that premium jump. Probably a 50% advance on Aha. You're cooking. Wait a second. Why are my viewers smarter than me? Holy fuck. I've actually become old at this point. Good shit. That's actually a really, really possible thing in his kit. He can action advance Aha instant. First Genius strikes again. I didn't even see the name. We need Flying Flame to hop on the HSR leaks. I don't even know what goes on with that guy. I've seen him get slandered to hell and back, and I don't remember a single leak from him. I don't think Yao is premium EMC. Evo would run out of a team after new MC. Guys, you just need to accept it at this point, okay? You really need to accept this. You're just gonna have to run a scuffed ass Evanescia team. They are not gonna go out of their way to make 2 premium elation teams. I'm sorry. Or maybe they do, but logically speaking, it's such a low fucking chance. Like, and then you also have this leak. It is questionable, but it is a real leak that EMC's kit is similar to Yao Guang. Like how much more can you cope? You know what I'm saying? Like, how much more can you cope that Yao Guang isn't the premium version of EMC? How far can your cope go at this point? Like, you are fighting everything possible. They could make 2 mono elation teams. I just don't think it's gonna happen. This is just gonna be a Hyacine Cyrene situation, right? Hyacine is wanted by every HP scaler. Guess what? You have to fucking choose who gets Hyacine, okay? The majority of Chrysosayers have Cyrene as a best in slot. Guess what? You gotta choose who gets Cyrene, right? Like, I just don't see them suddenly changing this and making every single team have full best in slots. It really doesn't make sense.
Such is their destiny. If it's a duel you want.
Since when did MCs have a kit close to their premium option? Okay. So let me get this straight. You think that EMC having a similar kit to Yao Guang, but very clearly being the free-to-play entry version, who is probably weaker, and then Yao Guang has a similar kit, but is the limited version, with AoE buffing, no different to RMC to Cyrene, and you think she isn't the upgrade. The person with a better but similar kit to EMC isn't the EMC upgrade. I don't know. I don't know. Why would they release the upgrade before? Like, how many times do I have to go through this shit, man? How many times do I have to say this shit, man? Is this has to be at least the 15th time, and I'm not exaggerating. At least. Can I ask you a question? If you don't think Yao Guang is going to be best in slot because she's earlier on, then Sparksy won't be best in slot for Silverwolf either. Ashvale won't be best in slot for his future main DPS because they decided to sell the sub DPS before the main DPS came out, unlike other patches. Are we really going to do this? Every single limited unit Hoyo has released in early version 4, they're all going to get replaced by a better, more premium version later on because they released earlier on, which is unusual. Or are we just going to nitpick this only for Yao Guang? It would make EMC mid? No, it wouldn't. What? You realize this isn't mono rem. They can run sustainless. And Yao Guang's current best in slot is with EMC Yao Guang. Just like a lot of Chrysos Hair best in slots is RMC Cyrene. Like, EMC is still going to have a lot of value for the peak performance of literally every single Elation team until the Elation sustain comes out. That's just how it's going to be. So since there's only one Yao, we have to pick between Evanescence and Silverwolf? Exactly. Exactly. People for some reason think they're making full best in slot teammates, full mono teams for every single new team and every new character of a path. This has never happened. Where's this delusion coming from? People have had to always fight. Like, who gets Cyrene for the Chrysos Heirs? Who gets Hyacine for this? Who gets RMC for that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, with Eva and Sparksy with Silverwolf? I mean, dude, like, listen, you can believe whatever you want, but it is, like, incredibly illogical, is all I want you to understand. Like, replacing Yao Guang in a Silverwolf team literally nerfs Sparksy value. Like, I don't know how you guys don't realize this. It nerfs it so badly. A large part of being able to be as SP positive as Buff Sparkle and be an Elation buffer is solely because of Yao Guang and her forced AHA instance synergizing with Sparksy. Sparksy's first two eidolons are literally only synergistic with Yao Guang because of Aha Instance. Like, I don't know what you want me to say, man. Every fucking sign shows that Yao Guang is meant for the Silver Wolf team.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
I mean, they're separate main DPSs, Hyper, so yeah, probably not. Sparcy will be like an Aglaya and bait. I like strawberries. I think watermelon is overrated though. It tastes mostly like water. Mango? Okay, listen. I'm Hispanic. There was a point in my life when I was very small. I only have like flickering memories of it. But like the main fruit I ate basically every day for quite a while, for like a few months, was mangoes. I do like mangoes, but their re-eatability isn't the best. They're sweet. You can argue they probably have like the most, sweet and best fruit flavor that there is, but I don't have them in my top personally. Like being able to eat multiple of something does matter to me when it comes to fruits. Pineapple is one of my favorite. Pineapple is definitely one of my favorite. My top three is probably like currently strawberries. I need to be careful with this second though. I need to really think it through. It's a hard battle between grapes and pineapple probably for this second place. So my top three would be strawberries, pineapple, grapes. I don't know the order between the last two though. Look what happened to Sunday Roshia Jiaoqiu Tribi.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
I'm gonna grab a water bottle. Be right back. I'm not even joking. Actually, no, I don't want to say that. Not against you, chat. I was gonna bring something up, but like, it's a bit rude to part of my family. But let's just say, this chair didn't used to squeak like this. Someone like sitting on it.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Pears. I'm sorry, I cannot take anybody serious who likes pears. Like, you are an NPC. I don't even believe you're like a living organism. If you have pears as like a genuine fruit you eat. Pears taste good? Oh, hell no. Oh my god, look at all these unks. Look at all these unks talking about how much they like pears. Oh my god. Like, I can't believe it's real, dude. I can't believe it. Who the fuck thinks pears are fire, bro? What about durian enjoyers? What is that, the follow-up set in HSR? Oh no, I like bananas. Bananas is probably in my top 5. Log off.
The knight's
Who thinks
challenge has
strawberries
arrived.
are fire? Everybody. Joke that killed the stream? Chill. I'm hilarious. Ha 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 ha. Cherry tomatoes? Nah, we good, dude. I low-key be forgetting that tomatoes are a fruit. I don't like strawberries. Strawberry jam, on the other hand. Dude, how can you not like strawberries? Like, why does the world not agree with every single take that I spew out? It's so weird. There's no way someone can not like strawberries. Strawberries are fire? Exactly. Hating strawberries is like hating hyoscine. Think about that. Do you guys hate hyoscine? Probably not. Nobody does. Everybody loves hyoscine. Are tomatoes the only fruit that's commonly used in cooking? Probably. Now my blade's still homeless? Don't worry, Bronte, they'll make another HP scaling sustain in 6.x. Yeah, but will their LC be as broken for Blade as Hyacine? Yes. The light cone power creep will hit. We need Blade Nova Flare too. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I remember telling people that the first batch of Nova Flares were pretty undercooked. And like people didn't want to listen to me because like they were destroying at the time what the HP there was. But I told people like these first batch of Nova Flares suck because they weren't made strong enough. So it's like after about 3 or 4 patches of the Nova Flares, they're just gonna be back where they used to be. The only real benefit from the Nova Flares of a DPS is Blade, because like you can lose to him. Like I got E1 Blade for literally free on my Cassie account from losing 50/50s. But the rest, it's like, eh. Now, I have to say, probably, I mean, the best Nova Flares are definitely Dot, and now Firefly, and Huo Huo. Those are probably like the 3 highest value Nova Flares. Yeah, but the thing is, Solus, the thing is, you'll notice the pattern. The best Nova Flared characters, it isn't because of that sole Nova Flare. It's because they got more teammates to synergize with them even after these Nova Flares or right before. So like Firefly, she just got Dahlia. If Firefly didn't get Dahlia, I doubt the Nova Flare would have been able to fix much long term. Um, Huo Huo getting buffed, she's now going to be best in slot for like half of the general teams in the game. Um, Kafka getting buffed really was only as effective as it was because of Heislands, and then buffed Black Swan, and then Cyrene, and now buffed Huo Huo and all that shit. So that's kind of my point. It's like the Nova Flares do help, but they don't help enough unless the archetype is given like another teammate to give it an extra boost, in my opinion. Sparkle, yeah, but Sparkle's also the first Harmony they've buffed. So it's like, is it really a, you know, do we really apply this to Harmonies? Because I would say, if they were to buff Sunday right now, he'd be just as strong as this Sparkle, probably, if not stronger. I think it's just the Harmony payola of why they have so much value when they get Nova Flared. Like, if Robin were to get Nova Flared in this day and age, holy shit, we're back to that 2.x Robin meta, dude. Where everybody was just running her for those 0 cycles. I actually have a video. Oh my god, man. The good and sweet times of like early Pentacony, where I skipped Robin because all these guide makers were saying like Robin wasn't that good, she wasn't that big of a jump. And keep in mind, this was at a time when like this is when HSR was got its big boom, right? Of people actually learning how to play the game and learn speed tuning and normalizing that shit. But before that, it wasn't as normalized. So I was like clueless. I didn't know what was going on. I watched this creator named Wyatt Sky, who really liked doing HSR 0 cycles. I swear to God, no joke. This guy had like nearly 20 videos in a row just using E1 Robin and 0 cycling with 4 stars. I was losing my mind. Like, she was so meta for so fucking long. It pisses me off. That was also a time when you didn't know much about the game either. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Solus, earlier in the stream. Like, when I first started playing HSR in early Pentacony, I really didn't bother learning, like, meta, speed tuning, character kits, trying to understand patterns of the game and shit like that, until like mid to late 2.x is when I really started grinding the knowledge. That was back in the days when I actually listened to other gacha content creators of HSR for my polling plans, and like 90% of the time it went wrong, because they'd always either underestimate like 90% of the time how it went back then was the creators I watched would underestimate the characters who would end up being meta long term, and then they'd overestimate the ones that were like meta short term, right? Like these people said Robin was mid, but glazed the absolute fuck out of OG Sparkle when she first released. Shit was sad. Oh my fucking goodness. Who did you watch? I don't even remember, man. I don't remember anymore. It was so long ago. I probably watched whoever's guide that popped up with like a few thousand, 10,000 views. You weren't there, but everyone was telling you to pull for Sparkle and Silverwolf on release. That was a mistake. I was there for Sparkle, but yeah, I wasn't there for Silverwolf. I did see a clip, like I saw a meme clip on one of Pokey's Clips channels probably a few months ago, where like old Pokey back in 1.x thought that Silverwolf was the most meta and future-proof pull in the game because of the fact that she could implant weakness. And then it was like him looking back at it and laughing his ass off. This was before Silverwolf got buffed, by the way. They also reran, so oh my god, dude, the Acheron mains got baited so fucking hard. They reran Silverwolf at the time when Acheron first released, and then like a patch or two later they dropped Jiaoqiu. Oh my god. Hoyo used to be hilarious with their rerun banners, I'm not gonna lie. Also, it didn't become like common knowledge that Harmony plus Nihility was best in slot for Acheron even without E2 until damn near the end of version 3. I do think Acheron will get buffed in this version. Nihilux is 50-50 for me. I used to, literally, when I first saw the drip markets, I was on the bandwagon of Nihilux is an Acheron buff, right? And whenever Nihilux is going to drop is a sign of when the Acheron Nova Flare is soon. But there's one thing, well, two things that annoy me. If the only last elation character is Sampo, do I really think they'd include a dude in the most pushed anniversary team of the version? I don't really think so, right? However, also, not only is Nihilux, a woman, so she fits the criteria, obviously, but also, Nihilux has white hair. To many, this may not matter, but after the Mono Rem team, I'm starting to feel like they're doing this shit on purpose, where like Mono Rem is, quote unquote mono pink hair, okay? Listen, we're not letting Cassie slide. But if you make Nihilux the elation sustain for a Yao Guang Sparksy Silverwolf team, then this is also mono white hair, right? And then you have the one imposter being Silverwolf with gray hair. Same as Cassie being the imposter with purple hair. I don't know. This could be like, conspiracy theory. But I don't know. I feel like it has some merit to it. And then it's like, if Nihilux isn't an elation sustain, who the fuck is it gonna be? I've seen so many people say Pearl. I don't think Pearl is gonna be an elation sustain.
Tonight's challenge
I think Pearl is just gonna be a like Himiko's sustain in my opinion. That's who I see Pearl being a sustain for. So it's like, who's left? Robin maybe? Robin? Robin sustain? Because we should get Robin SP and we still don't know what she's supposed to do. Like, I guess? Maybe? Some people have said maybe Avon, but like then it's a dude. Once again. Kind of weird. If they don't buff Acheron, Eidolon, or Nova Flare, I'm gonna crash out. No, they will. They've buffed the Eidolons for literally every Nova Flared character, no matter who they are. So Acheron would definitely get buffs in the Eidolons department. Yeah, exactly, Solus. Yeah, Robin could fall for it too, yeah. What do you think Welt's Nova Flare is him being reworked to be for Himiko SP? Maybe.
tonight's
I'm gonna be
challenge has
honest.
arrived.
I have zero clue what Welt's Nova Flare could possibly do. So I'm not even gonna try and speak on it. I only like speaking on things when I'm like generally, confident in it and I have like, lines of thinking to back it up. But when it comes to Welt, dude, it's a blank. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do with him. Because like Welt is like such a versatile character. You can make him almost anything, right? You could make him part of the dot team. You genuinely could, because the guy's nihility. You could make him a sustain because he slows enemies down while also being able to dish a bit of damage and maybe generate some SP in some buffed version, right? Like, you can make him multiple roles and fulfill different things depending on what it is you want to buff him for. So I genuinely have fucking zero clue what they're gonna do with this guy. No, I meant like as a sustain, Bronte. As a sustain. Like, because he's a nihility, he could just put a bunch of debuffs on the enemy, and it would be like running sustainless, but more like sustainless break in a way, but for dot, because he'd be slowing down the enemies. Which would be incredibly strong, because then a so-called sustainless dot would be able to go for like 2 or 3 cycles before they actually die. Do you think Nova Flare Seal can be better than Archer? Yes, I do. It depends on who's using Seal, though. An average player, I'd say, would probably perform better with Archer. He's more brain dead than Seal. But a high level player using Seal will 100% probably be able to get more as compared to Archer, in my opinion.
Just like the treasure chest from the stories.
The thing is, and I've always talked about this, and this is why I never thought they'd ever buff Seal. The resurgence mechanic is the most broken thing in HSR. There's nothing else more broken than the resurgence mechanic. I get that they were probably testing the waters at the beginning of the game, but holy shit, like that is the mechanic. So the problem Seal has had for basically the last entire version is obviously the damage multipliers are outdated, right? But even still, for example, you had creators like Zolza getting free to play 4-star teammate 0 cycles against Nikador in 3.0 with Seal. Okay? Like that shit is just insanity. But now that the HP got so high, no longer possible. But now you Nova Flare her again, and she can go back to these bullshit shenanigans. Especially now that you have shit like free buff Sparkle, right? So, I do 100% think, in the right hands, Seal is going to be stronger than an Archer. Buff Seal. Definitely. Huge problem with Resurgence is that extra damage multipliers like Tribi, E1, or Robin ult do not trigger it, which are kind of her best supports at the moment. I'd imagine Seal's best in slot team is probably Sunday Sparkle. I could be wrong, but I imagine that'd be the case. Obviously, you couldn't do this before with older Sparkle, but now you can do double action advancer with Sunday Sparkle on hyper carry teams. I think that would probably be Seal's best in slot. What if Sunday Sparkle Branya? I mean, yeah. Sunday's SP neutrality / positivity alongside buff Sparkle's SP positivity does allow you to run a sustainless Branya way more easily. Will it work consistently? No. Because Sparkle's buff is 2 turns and Branya's is 1. I mean, you're not going to be getting the full advantage, but you will be getting like the most actions possible. It's probably better to put Robin in there as compared to Branya, though. What do you think about the take that Yao is bad for free-to-plays because she's an EMC upgrade and it's better to invest into Silverwolf and Sparksy? Slap a random sustain and call it a day with EMC in a team? Well, you can do that. You definitely can. But what Yao Guang, in the first place, I do think that EMC will be a very good alternative to Yao Guang. And I think I've talked about this in the last stream. I see Yao Guang being like a 25% upgrade over EMC, right? It's not going to be this astronomical difference that you see with like Yao Guang versus Tribi for Sparksy. But there is one thing Yao Guang has, and this is the exact reason why people still choose to invest into Mono Rem, which is vertical investment. If you pick up anyone Yao Guang, your relation team now does 30% more damage. You can't do that shit with EMC, right? So yes, you can 100% choose to just stick with EMC and not pull Yao Guang, but you are like hindering kind of the full potential of your team. If you don't care about that, then hey, you know, go for it. All the power to you. But it's like, if you have a already at base, let's say Yao Guang is 20 to 25% stronger, and then Yao Guang getting her E1 makes the Elation team 30% stronger, you're now at like a 60, okay, I don't want to say that number, I'm just going to say 60 to 65% jump over EMC on elation teams, which is a pretty significant jump for just an E1 support, which a lot of people would like to go into. And then it's like, if you're getting Evanesia, then you probably still want to pull Yao Guang. Because Evanesia isn't going to use Sparksy. So you still want to pull Yao Guang anyway and run her alongside EMC. So it's like... What are you speculating Himiko's kit can be? Or should be? I don't know. I feel like the more I've thought about it, the less likely it is Himiko SP is a break character. I mean, it's still definitely possible, but it's like... My problem is the reruns.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Oh, wait a second. The reruns might not be an issue. Okay. The reruns aren't an issue, never mind. I'll put my bets on break DPS. Of anything that I can just throw out there, I think she'll be a break DPS. So, I think they will rerun the break supports again from 3.8, 3 patches later in 4.2 for Firefly Nova Flare. And then when I thought about it for a second, 3 patches after this, could they do another rerun? They could. This would be the patch right after Himiko SP runs, which is 4.4. So the reruns do line up with being able to rerun on Himiko's team. Himiko is probably going to stay fire. I could be wrong. Maybe she becomes like imaginary or some shit, right? But my guess for Himiko for a long time now, like what I guessed, is that she'd be the actual best in slot partner for Dahlia, and this Firefly Nova Flare shit is a temporary bait. That's always been my guess. I don't know. I'm saying this as someone who, you know, literally got an account just so I could play with Nova Flared Firefly, but I genuinely think this is the case. If this isn't the case, then I don't know. Fuck. I got no other guesses other than break DPS fire. My guess is fire destruction. Like if this were like before we got Evernight, I would be like, oh, there's no way an SP of a character can get the same element, but March has 2 ice versions, and the only thing that's different is the paths. So if the paths is what matters for an SP, then I do think Himiko could be fire again, but destruction this time. Is it confirmed Himiko is a DPS? No, but it just makes logical sense. There's never been a second main push character who hasn't been a DPS. And to be honest, Cyrene is like the first case of a main push being a support at all. All other main pushes have been DPSs. She's main push? Yeah. Main pushes, we don't know if there's a third one. There could be. But we're only aware of 2 main pushes for Plan Arcadia, being Silverwolf and Himiko. Those are the 2. Just theory crafting, Mao. Well, once again, small leak, questionable leak, that Silverwolf's current test team is with EMC, Sparksy, and Huohuo. And also that EMC has a similar kit to Yao Guang, which is all they said. My guess is that just that EMC is a hyper carry version of Yao Guang, and like a little bit weaker. That seems pretty respectable. That's always what I guessed in the first place anyway. Cyrene was a third push? Yes, she was. Is Firefly a good investment? Had few Gandalia with no super break DPS? Yeah, probably. Once she gets her Nova Flare, for sure, she'll be like leagues ahead of basically the rest of the break DPSs. Because Boot Hill and Rappa aren't getting Nova Flared yet, but she is. Even right now, she's stronger than both of them. But like, she's also the one getting the focus buff, so. EMC for Silverwolf, not Sparkle. Once again, anybody who thought Sparkle was going to be best in slot for these Elation DPSs was coping out the fucking wazoo. Like, the only one was going to be Sparksy temporarily. Sparkle, all she can give is skill points. It's all she can give. She isn't an AoE buffer, which obviously means she isn't fit for a mono DPS team, which is always what the most shield team is. She isn't Elation, so she can't increase Aha instant speed. She can't buff Elation. She can't generate punchline. I mean, it couldn't get any more disadvantageous for her being in an Elation team. Elation is just incredibly niche. Also, Elation doesn't really give a fuck about action advance, especially Silverwolf, I'd imagine. Like, Silverwolf has a gimmick ult. Like, even if theoretically you action advance Silverwolf, maybe she can generate like 5 punchline on her own turn. That shit's probably like a fraction to building up to her ultimate. So the action advance from Sparkle wouldn't really matter. And you'd want, like, really want punchline gen from the rest of the team to contribute towards Silverwolf hitting that ultimate. I imagine that's how it goes anyways. Sparkle has an AoE buff? Yeah. True. You just miss out on the crit damage and the res pen. My bad.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
Oh yeah, Brile. Neither of them are gonna have Sparkle as like a solidified best in slot, in my opinion. If you want like a cheap team, but it isn't as strong, that's probably gonna be Evanesia. If you want the strongest team that has more expensive horizontal investment, that's probably Silverwolves. Then again, the decider is probably going to be animations for most of you anyways. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to get the favorable treatment, but, you know, we can wait and see. We can wait and see. Sparkle E6 gives you all her buffs as AoE. Hey, you know, any E6 Sparkle havers out there? I guess you can use her, kinda. Still missing punchline gen, Aha instant speed, elation damage buffing elation gimmicks, but you got the AoE buffing now.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
I can only afford one of the 2 elation units in 4.0. Who do you think will be more important for Silverwolf? I'm gonna be honest, I can't say this. I really can't. I'm sorry. I can't give a answer on that. Because, like, in a theoretical 3-man elation team, the reason why Yao Guang is as SP positive as she is paired with Sparksy, and Yao Guang, like, being able to do forced aha instance for more Sparksy skill points and thrill gen, hitting the 3 elation so she can gain 4 thrill and 8 punchline every ultimate. Like, I can't say anything until we see EMC kit and see if he truly is, like, you know, an alternative to Yao Guang that's good enough in comparison. It's so hard for me to say. But given the fact that the testing team replaced Yao Guang to test EMC but didn't replace Sparksy, I will say Sparksy looks like she ain't going anywhere on that team, in my opinion. Because if we gotta talk about which support is more valuable, then they probably would have replaced Sparksy and put an EMC in Sparksy's place. But they did the opposite. So that could be a sign that Sparksy's the more important one.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
You think Asheville will get a nerf? No, he's not getting nerfed. To be honest, I thought he'd get buffed. His follow-up ability. Given nuance, Asheville isn't as broken as people think he is. He is... Okay, the best way I can put this is, he is as strong as some of the other top teams in the game, but because he can focus this damage on single target, people think he is way stronger than he actually is. This is just a payola that single target characters have in MOC and like APOC and shit. You can ignore the add-ons and not waste any damage. All your damage is just pure on the boss, which has always made hunk characters look good. But in actuality, he is not like the top DPS in the game. Plus, these elation teams are about to get massively buffed with Evanescence and Silverwolf especially. So, can't have enough. Oh yeah, he's a good DPS. But he's about to get power cliffed in my opinion. Which is why I actually recommend they buff him a little bit. I mean, he's going to get his main DPS eventually anyways. Like, you can just transition him into the sub DPS role when he starts to feel like he's falling off late version 4. But yeah, like, I do think, because we have so much of like this Yao Guang discussion and who's going to be best in slot, people are really ignoring like the red flag in the room, which is the HP inflation and power creep we're about to get. I guarantee you, these anniversary teams are but a fucking shit on every previous team this game has ever had. They're not going to make them useless, especially with vertical investment, but you'll notice the difference. That's all I'm going to say. You'll notice the difference.
The knight's challenge has arrived. Such is the repent. Your silence beckons.
Rep heirs. I don't think the heirs will be in as dire of a situation as the version 2 units were in version 3. Solely because, well, it depends on the DPS, okay? Depends on the DPS. But characters like Evernight, Cassie, Phanon, like these characters, because of how strong their vertical investment is, they'll still clear anyways. It really doesn't matter. Even with significant levels of HP inflation. But the few who have like maybe mid verticals, like Dot also with like all these buffs, their sustain team is probably going to get buffed with Nova Flares. Whoa. They have all the early vertical investment. They're also like sitting pretty basically. I'm gonna be honest. Like, the thing I'm most excited for in this version, believe it or not, it's like Firefly Nova Flare and the possibility of an Acheron Nova Flare. You guys might think it's like this elation shit, but like no. I really want to see what they do with Firefly Nova Flare, and then I'm also curious if they'll do an Acheron Nova Flare in this version. And, like, would they give her a teammate? Would it be Nihilux? Like, shit like that interests me. This Elation team is like, dude, it's so boring, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already know how this entire Elation team shilling is gonna go. Like, it's boring. You're gonna make an Elation sustain. Yao Guang's the premium version. You might sell another Elation DPS. You might make some other hyper carry Elation buffer. I don't know, like some people are coping for. But, like, that's as far as you go out of my expectations. Like, it's so obvious. Himiko's going to get her best team. Like, it's these Nova Flares that really make me excited. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like the characters, Raid Leader, or that I'm not hyped for the team gameplay and the animations. But in terms of what I'm most curious and most hyped about, it's easily the Nova Flares. The non-predictable stuff? Yeah, exactly. Firefly's Nova Flare will take away the E2 cooldown. I agree. I've been someone saying this for quite a while now. It just makes sense. It'd make her E2 on the same level as like Amphorius DPS E2. Which I think is like a healthy buff to her Eidolons. And then you can just add the normal extra turn other break and base kit. So that way you upgrade the E2. I mean, knowing them, they'd also upgrade the E1 though. Like, what would they even do to the E1? The E1 for like Firefly is good. It's like, it's hard for me to imagine buffing it because it gets rid almost completely of her skill point issues. And then also it's like just a side of 15% defense ignore. I guess what they could do is they could alleviate the SP issues in base kit and then sell a bigger damage amp in the E1. I guess. With Dahlia, that will be infinite turns. No, she can get an extra turn every single break or kill, but then there's a cooldown, right? Like the E2 cooldown is every other turn. So Firefly will go, get a break or kill, and she will get the action advance. But in the next turn, she won't get an action advance at all, right? So for the turn she got action advance, no turn. Next turn, also no extra turn, right? That's how it works. So if you remove the E2 cooldown and make it so that she gets action advanced every turn, the best way you can think about it, if you have E2 Phanon or you've seen his gameplay, look at an E2 Phanon in Purification. That is what I'm saying they do for E2 Firefly. It's not technically infinite turns, but you double the amount of turns, basically. No, but there's still a cooldown mash. Like, you can't activate it on the extra turn that you're given from the Eidolon. It's the same way that Phanon has an artificial limiter on him being able to technically infinitely get extra turns because he requires 4 Scourge stacks on meteors to activate his E2 in the first place. It's like the same thing. Only 1 extra turn per turn? Yeah, exactly. You said it well. Is Sparksy playable without Sparkle? With a Yao Guang and EMC, I'd imagine so. Yes. I'd imagine so. We don't know EMC's kit, but considering EMC Yao is best in slot for Evanesia, and EMC also seems to be like a Yao Guang alternative for Silverwolf, there's no reason why they shouldn't also work with Sparksy, in my opinion.
The knight's challenge has arrived.
But yeah. Just give me the Sparksy banner already, man. I'm bored. Burp. I have nothing better to talk about than fucking Yao Guang dooming and some random theory crafting on stream. I should actually probably catch up to a few anime and manhwa. I read a few manhwa like a week ago, and then I got like hyper fixated on like this Plan Arcadia shit, and I forgot to like follow up on the rest. I should probably go back to that. Does the Herda Elation Light Cone work on Sparksy? on her own skill doesn't work as a buff to herself. I don't think so. Maybe. I don't think so though. Blue Lock recent chapter got ego doing the UG meme. It doesn't matter. No spoilers in the chat though. It's been 4 hours. I have not been live for 4 hours. There's no way. Yeah, I've been live for 2.5. I was gonna say. Watch Fate Strange Fake. Yeah. I've been thinking of rewatching Data Live recently. Which you guys can probably tell from my my community posts. Like I did watch it a while back, but then I forgot about it and then I got reminded of it through like TikTok edits. So
The knight's challenge has arrived. You won't. A mere scratch.
alright chat. I think 2.5 hours is a good time to stop it. We had some pretty good discussion, some pretty good talk. I'm probably gonna go to sleep now. Love you all. Hope you have a great day.